Hello and welcome to Morning Brew on Politics Social. I am Graham Hughes, and it is Friday, the 14th of February 2025. Happy Valentine's Day for all those who participate. Love is in the air. Actually, it's not, is it really? Hate is in the air. That's what's in the air at the moment. Just lots and lots and lots of hate. Negative feelings, negative emotions. Oh my God, they're just off the charts. So big shout out to Paul Ewan in the chat. We've also got Lenora's Embroidery Journey. We've got Graham Hello. We've got Tripod 9000. We've got One Angry Pagan. I've got Martin Hammer there. Happy Valentine's Day. And we've also got Anne Phillips in there and SG. If you would like to join them in the chat, these wonderful people in the chat, all you need to do, hit that subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. Boom. And wait for a minute and you'll be able to join in the chat. Leipshin's asking, good morning, everyone. How are we all doing? Better lives. So in the fallout from Trump's declarations a couple of days ago are really coming into focus right now. Trump had a 90-minute phone call with Vladimir Putin in which he announced that the negotiations for Ukraine's future would begin immediately. Neither Ukraine or anyone in Europe was consulted before this decision. Troop dismissed Ukraine's NATO joining ambition and suggested it was unlikely that Ukraine would ever return to its pre-2014 borders, thereby giving away the two big negotiating chips before the negotiations had even begun. He essentially rang up a murderer who had murdered a bunch of people and said, hey, listen, I know you're scared about getting caught by the police and being put in jail, but let me tell you, lad, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I've sorted it, lad. Like I sorted it for the 1,500 knobheads who fucking stormed our Parliament building in America. Tried to burn it down with everyone inside. Yeah, they've been all freed. So I'll let you off. So but don't go murdering any more people. Even though if you do murder more people, I'll let you off again. Great job. Great negotiating strategy there from Donald Trump, the master fucking the art of the deal. Rings up America's supposedly greatest enemy and says, hey, do what you like. A US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, who's some Fox News knobhead presenter who's somehow in charge of the military in America now, has echoed Trump. He's called Ukraine's NATO bid unrealistic and downplayed his chances of recovering lost territory. This is where NATO needs to throw America out. That's it. Bye, America. They're not going to help anyway. Just get rid of them. I know that sounds very flippant, but they're not our friends anymore. America is now our enemy. So we need a bigger NATO to take on Russia and America combined. That's going to require more countries in Europe, Canada, Mexico, all the other countries that Trump has already fucked off. Australia, maybe, New Zealand as well. That's very big, but strategic value, etc., etc. Japan. Let's get Japan into NATO. Let's do it. Let's get them all in. And make sure that we stand ourselves up against the USA, who are now our enemy. That's the new political reality that has dawned since 77.3 million Americans voted for an orange, fascist, Nazi, rapist, felon, gobshite to be the leader of the free world. They chose that on our behalf, by the way. Thanks very much, knobheads. And then you get Americans going, but why do you care, Greg? Why do you care? You're in a different country. Yeah, because it affects us, you daft twats. It affects us. Do you not see that? Do you not see that giving Putin everything he wants in Ukraine is just going to empower him to go and invade Moldova or Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania, Poland even? Suspending Article 5 of NATO, which says that, one for all and all for one. If someone gets invaded, then it's on all of the NATO members to come to their defense. Do you remember? America's pulled out of that as well. Said, no, it's not us. It's not us. We're not going to do it. Trump has invited Putin to the US, marking a dramatic shift in diplomatic relations. Putin is a wanted war criminal who murders his political opponents and has ruled Russia with an iron fist for 25 years now. A quarter of a century has been under Putin. And European leaders, including Emmanuel Macron, have warned against a capitulation peace deal, which it absolutely is. It is a complete capitulation. This is peace in our time. Fucking, what's his name? I've forgotten the name of the guy waving the piece of paper saying peace out. I'm thinking of William Gladstone, but that was a guy, that was a long time ago. That was in the Victorian era. Neville Chamberlain. Neville Chamberlain. That's what it is. A fatter, more orange Neville Chamberlain holding up a piece of paper saying that, we've appeased the Nazis. We've said that they could take half of Czechoslovakia and the Sudetenland, and they'll stop at that. Ukraine's government is deeply concerned about being sidelined with Zelensky's office, stating that no talks with Russia are expected in Munich, despite Trump's claims. And Trump pressured Europe to pay for Ukraine's defense while simultaneously pulling back US support, effectively forcing Europe to bear the cost of his betrayal of everything that we stand for as democratic, free people of the world. Trump's not a democratic person. He is an autocrat. We saw that when he lost the last election and he mounted an insurrection against the US government. He entered the US parliamentary building, the Congress. He did that. He totally did that because he's a fucking Nazi. And we make this very, very clear that Trump is a Nazi. We have to keep saying this as often and as loudly as possible because Trump is a Nazi. We've also got power to the people in the chat saying Chamberlain. We've got Graham Haller saying Chamberlain. Thank you very much. Bit late now. That's a problem with the delay. It's got like a 30-second delay. So by the time you tell me what the answer is, I might have sussed it out by myself. But yeah, so as far as I'm concerned, and the title of this video is that America is now Europe's enemy. It is now our enemy, and we need to start thinking along those lines. We need to start thinking about how America is not just the enemy of Europe, but also the enemy of the free world. He has already put trade sanctions on other countries, including Mexico and Canada. He threatened a 25% blanket tariff, which didn't come into effect, but then he did do a 25% tariff on steel and a 10% tariff on aluminium coming in, which has ruined a lot of industry in neighboring countries. So, he doesn't have any friends in the region. His only friend is Vladimir Putin. And I say friend, there's a bit of a weird power dynamic going on there where Trump is happy to get down on his knees and be subservient to his dom, who is Vladimir Putin. And seemingly Elon Musk. Did you see the footage of his little child saying, you're not the president, I want you to go away, and telling the president of the United States to shut the fuck up? Did you see that? Yeah, very interesting. Musk is now arguably the most powerful man in the world, except that there is something that can stop him, which is Trump. Trump can throw him in jail tomorrow, which he probably will do. So mark my words, 14th of February 2025, at some point, Musk will push it too far because he's a fucking dickhead. And Trump will be like, I'm sick of this guy, get rid of him. And there are so many charges now that can be brought against Musk. It's unreal. Like, that guy, it will spend the rest of his life behind bars for what he's done in the last couple of weeks. The number of laws that Elon Musk has broken it's off the charts. And he'll go down for like, well, when they give those mad sentences in America of like 872 years, he'll get one of them. The only thing stopping him from being put in jail right now is Donald Trump. And you'll think he would keep on the good side of Donald Trump, but he brings his kid along to the Oval Office for some reason. His kid insults Trump to his face. Elon Musk does all the talking while dressed really inappropriately for the Oval Office, but doing his Dominic Cummings fucking act. Jesus. So look, America is now Europe's enemy. We need to make this very clear, right? Trump has aligned himself with Putin, the most evil man in the world, has cozied up to, has aligned himself with the most evil man in the world. So there's two most evil men in the world. I think they're battling it out for who can be more evil. I think at the moment Putin's more evil because he's actually gone ahead and invaded Georgia, which everyone seems to forget, and Crimea, Ukraine. And he's led to the deaths of tens, thousands, hundreds of thousands of civilians, innocent men, women, and children who were just slaughtered and tortured and slaughtered by the Russian forces at the behest of Putin, who wanted to do a shock and awe campaign, which involved some really, really horrific um, incidences, crimes against humanity, massive crimes against humanity. And Phillips, thank you very much for the super chat there. I used to say to my boys, learn to get on with other people because they have you outnumbered. Yes, and you're absolutely right. And there's more countries that aren't America than are America. And look, if we all work together, our economic power is bigger than America. So, for instance, if the UK, the EU, and Japan all team up against America, we're a bigger, but put our GDPs together, we're bigger than America. If China's like, I'm sick of your shit, and they come on board as well, we're almost twice as big as America in terms of GDP. Also, population-wise, we're massively more. We massively outnumber the Americans. I mean, even the EU as it is now, without the UK, is still nearly 500 million people. It's a good 1/3 bigger than America in terms of population. And that's without the UK. Katrina Tam, thank you very much for the £20 super chat. Woo! Morning, Graham. Here's some money. Trump keeps a copy of Mein Kampf by his bedside. This is as bad, worse than my delusion when I had my mental breakdown of fascists taking over the world and kicking off World War III. Yeah, I don't think it's going to go as far as World War III, but we are going to have war. I mean, I have no doubt about it. I feel sorry for people who have got kids who have got that age that will get signed up, get drafted to fight. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible what Trump has done, what Trump and Putin and the people who support them, who continue to support them. You know, they're not losing any support, by the way. Putin is very popular in Russia. Obviously, he controls the means of communication. He controls all the propaganda. Most people in Russia don't really know what's going on because they're just fed state propaganda, something that they've been fed for 500 years now, and they're not going to stop their unleavened diet, as James O'Brien likes to say, of misinformation. That's just the Russian way, I guess, I suppose. And then when somewhere like Ukraine tries to break away from that sphere of influence and have actual democratic elections and turn its attention towards the EU and Europe and having free, transparent, accountable institutions, then Moscow loses its shit. The imperialist scum in Moscow, the Kremlin and the Duma, they lose their fucking shit and go, no, don't be being democratic, don't be having an elected leader. And they put out bullshit about Zelensky being a Nazi, and it's like, you do know he's Jewish, right? You do know. But people believe it because they're fucking idiots. Ukraine is being sacrificed. Let's face it. The US is no longer working in Europe's interest, but instead negotiating directly with Russia over Europe's security. This isn't just about Ukraine, right? This is also about the whole of Europe and what happens to us. What happens to Finland? What happens to Poland? What happens to Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, Moldova, Romania? These countries, with the exception of Finland, they used to be under the Soviet sphere of influence. It's a good way of putting it. The sphere of influence that used to extend all the way, to the border between East and West Germany. And Putin wants that back. He wants the old days back. He wants to rule over this. I mean, Russia's the biggest country in the world as it is, but he wants an even bigger country full of people who don't want to be part of that country. That'll show him. It's an idiotic thing to want, by the way. There was actually, no, I hate Julia Hartley-Brewer. I hate her at the best of times. But she did an interview yesterday with Richard Tice. And do you know what? I might try and bring it up in a moment because it's worth just playing out in its entirety. So just give me a sec and I'll try and hang on. I'll try and get this together for you. One sec. Julia, she was talking to Richard Tice, and he was making excuses for Trump, of course, and for Putin, of course, because he's a fucking Nazi. Richard Tice is a Nazi. Refuck are a Nazi party, and people who vote for them like Nazis. They might have Spitfires on their pajamas, but they are Nazis. They wanted the Nazis to win World War II. Let me put it that way. So Julia Hartless, I don't know how to spell her real name. It's Hartley. Okay. and then Tice. Okay. Videos. My son is 25, training to be a primary school teacher. It's just, yeah, it's just a bit much, isn't it? Julia Hartley-Brewer, TikTok videos. I don't want to play. Oh no, hang on. Yeah, okay. This is on TikTok. Okay, it's. Oh, maybe this is okay. Sorry, I'm just gonna set things up so we can watch this video together. Let me just get me earbuds so I can hear what the fuck is going on. And then I need to sorry, I'm not all with it this morning, so you're just gonna have to bear with me. I'm not all with it many mornings, you know. It's just one of those things in life, isn't it? What I'll do is I will do a new browser, window capture. Yeah, okay, right, we'll do that. Select a window, Julia Hartley-Brewer. Okay, right, now I have to adjust this so it looks right on the screen. Oh God, why is this fucking so difficult? Right, okay, and then we'll bring that down to there. There we go. Okay, and then I just need to get rid of. How do I get rid of this shit here? Okay, all right. I suppose that'll have to do. I guess. Do you know what would be better if we had bloody? The thing is, you type in like I want to see this video, and all you get is like people's responses to it, and I'm like, I don't want people's responses. I just want the fucking video. And that one there is from 14 days ago, so that's not going to be the one. That's not going to be the one we want. So just give me a moment while I adjust my wellies here. I'll just say a big shout out to David Smith and SG while I'm doing this. Hey guys, how you doing? Hope you're all right. Okay, cancel. Filters. Plus, sorry, I'm trying to make this look as professional as possible. I should have had this set up in advance, but actually, I really want you to see this. This is why I'm bringing this up as I'm talking, because I really want you to see it. Let me see, and then we'll just get rid of the top there by 100. Yeah, that's good. And then we'll get rid of the right by 200. I'm just cropping it. 300. I'm actually recording a show today with Alex, Political X, and Marina Perkis. I'll be recording a show with them later this morning, very quickly, because obviously we've got loads of other stuff to do. But that'll be going out on this Sunday. So look out for that. Look out. It should be good. Here we go. Okay, so here we go. Julia Hartley-Brewer and Richard Tice. And here we go. Hopefully this will work now after me spending so much time bringing this up. Should have had it set up already. Here we go. And then we'll... Okay. And then this needs to go here. Oh, I'm not getting any sound through. Why is it... Oh, man. Man, oh, man. Why is it not letting me... Why? After all that, it's not bloody working. Hang on. I can do this. I need to find my USB. Okay, cool. Right, now let's try again. See if you can get sound out.
Russia stopped.
Yes, thank you.
It's Russia that's killing people. If Russia stopped fighting, if Russia wanted to end the war, if Russia stopped fighting, Russia could just stop fighting and there wouldn't be a war. No one would be killed.
And that would be
great. Our job done. Yeah, but why doesn't the West take that to Russia?
Ultimately, maybe that's what the negotiations are.
Which part of Britain would you give away if we were invaded and you wanted to negotiate peace?
None at all.
Oh, so we wouldn't give away any of Britain.
But
it's okay to give away a bit of Ukraine.
Hang on, it's not us giving it away, Julia. Right? It's Ukraine, and Ukraine
doesn't want to give it away.
Of course it doesn't. But ultimately, as everybody said, it is Zelensky's decision. But ultimately, we've got to stop killing people.
If we were invaded and our close allies in NATO, like the United States, basically supported us for a bit, but gave us just enough support so we could actually not lose, but with not enough to win.
Yeah.
And after 3 years, whoever was president of the United States said,
position from which to try and negotiate a solution.
So at which point Donald Trump, let me finish, says, oh, well, we're going to have a negotiation, but we're going to let the Russians, whoever invaded us, keep part of territory. Just clarify. Just how much of British territory would you be willing to give away in those negotiations?
On Northern Ireland, chap. Ultimately, in Northern Ireland, there was a negotiation to stop the killing. It involved horrendous compromises that lots of people didn't want to make.
We didn't give away territory.
We stopped killing people.
We didn't give away territory.
That's also
correct.
correct.
We didn't give away territory to invading force. That's a ridiculous analogy.
No, it's a completely valid analogy.
Sorry, who invaded Northern Ireland?
Wars stop when people stop killing people.
No, wars stop when one side is defeated. Sorry, have you heard of the Second World War?
Yes.
Did we negotiate the ending of the Second World War?
Have you heard of there are lots of other wars where ultimately people negotiate a peace. Otherwise, you just carry on. How long are we going to carry on with this?
Falklands.
Yeah, Falklands we won.
Oh, yeah. We didn't just negotiate with Argentina and give them some of the Falklands.
No, but there's
Why
plenty
not?
of other...
Why not? That would have stopped the war, Richard. Why not?
Look, ultimately, we won that war. But there are other wars where it's a negotiated settlement.
Because it's not our problem. Except it will be our problem when Vladimir Putin thinks he can take any territory of any country in Europe that he darn well pleases.
And that's why the negotiation is about what is the strength of what is put in place to stop him going any further. That's why I've always said...
What's going to stop him going any further? We've just said you can take Crimea, you can take the Donbass.
That's the whole point of the negotiation. Is Ukraine going to join NATO and therefore benefit from the Article 4? Well, that's the point of the negotiation.
Well, there's no negotiation, is it? Is there? There's no negotiation. The Secretary of State
clearly don't understand how President Trump works. He starts out in one position. That doesn't mean that's where he settles. The whole point of a negotiation, you set out positions and then you work out where you're going to finish.
You know what you don't do in a negotiation? You set out a position where you've given the other side everything that they want.
And that's not what I suspect.
Literally what they've done.
I can't believe I'm agreeing with Julia Hartley-Brewer here.
I just thought Reform cared about national borders.
We do absolutely.
That's one hell of a dig.
Equally, we don't want to carry on killing people. We're not killing people, but ultimately, somehow, the war has got to stop. It's gone on for 3 years. How long do we keep it going? A decade? 2 decades?
How long would you fight for this country?
Until I'm dead.
That's what Ukrainian
exactly.
people would ideally do if they were given support.
But
that
actually,
war could have been won a long time ago if we'd given support.
Yeah, but there are lots of Ukrainian people who would like to find a way to end this war, including the president.
Let's not use up all our time on this. I'm disappointed in
I'm
people
not
who believe in
disappointed.
national
It's all about
security.
trying to explore ways to stop killing people.
Look, well, tell your big mate Donald Trump to tell his big mate Vladimir Putin to stop killing people. Then we can solve that problem like that.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Julia Hartley-Brewer, who I absolutely hate, taking Richard Tice to town there on his disgusting position that Ukraine should just take it. And he goes, you know, how long would you fight for Britain? And he's like, for the rest of my life. And he's like, okay, but the Ukrainians don't want that, right? This is why Tice and Farage and Cummings and all these little horrible little privately educated Nazis who run everything in this country. There are so many privately educated Nazis in our country right now running about, getting people on side, pretending they're one of us, pretending that they're just the commoners muck. They tell people, what did Cummings say when he was leaving London one time? Hey, I've got to get away from this metropolitan elite. The metropolitan elite. Yeah, the metropolitan elite. Dommy, yeah. Is that the same metropolitan elite that you were part of when you went to fucking Durham School for Boys? You know, that really fucking expensive private school that your parents sent you to? Were you hustling? Were you hustling were you hobnobbing with the metropolitan elite? Were you? Were you down in London with the people who run the fucking country? The bankers, the shareholders, the fucking CEOs, the metropolitan elite? Were they the people you were hanging out with? The people you went to fucking school with? Yeah. Fucking gobshites. Hate them. I've said it before, I said it again. My grandfather launched torpedoes against Nazis. He didn't placate them. He didn't facilitate them. He didn't capitulate to them. Didn't surrender to them. Didn't collaborate with them. Didn't say, they're not really Nazis. Yeah, no, they are really Nazis. They are actual Nazis. They will kill you as much as look at you. They are fucking psychopaths and they care nothing about anything on this planet except themselves. You can see this by their attitude to climate change, which apparently, according to the dickheads who run Refucker, they're saying we should do away with all with net zero. We shouldn't even try because there's no point because other countries aren't doing it. Yeah, other countries are doing it, like China's pulling ahead in terms of its green revolution. I mean, it's putting hundreds and thousands of miles of railway track across, thousands of miles of railway track across high-speed rail, which is electric. They've electrified the system. They're putting in solar panels. They're putting in wind farms. And you've got Richard Tice and Farage saying, I don't like pylons. They're very ugly. We should put them under the ground. Putting them under the ground costs 5 times as much. Are you going to pay for that, Richard? Are you, Nigel? Are you, Rafe? Rafe, are you gonna pay for that personally? No, you're fucking not. You're gonna make us, the 93% of us who went to fucking state schools, unlike you fuckers, you're gonna make us pay for it, aren't you? So it doesn't spoil your fucking view. Well, fuck you and fuck your fucking view. This is war. We are going into a situation in which the world is heating up so stupidly fast. We are going to hit tipping point after tipping point after tipping point if we don't do something about it. And there's mealy-mouthed fuckers going, oh, well, climate change might not be that bad. Oh, Trump might not be that bad. Oh, Putin might not be that bad. Fuck off. Just fuck off. Fuck off. David Faulkner, thank you very much for the 158 Hong Kong dollars. That is amazing. Thank you, sir. Afternoon, Graham, from the Chinese island province of Taiwan, the most beautiful subtropical island in China. Folks want Washington and Beijing to leave them alone and continue to the status quo, carry on their lives in peace. They pray no war here. Yeah, absolutely, David. That's what I want as well. That's what the sensible thinking world wants. I think there's a lot of people actually who aren't sensible, who rail against the status quo because it's not giving them the things that they wanted in their life. But I think we just need to take a step back and just see how far we've come. Maybe turn around, see how far we've come from the bottom of the fucking pit where we were just 150 years ago as working people. Like how far we've come. And that's because of peace. That's because of democracy. The people in North Korea aren't having a good time. I'll tell you that now. The people in Russia aren't having a good time. I'll tell you that now. You live in an autocracy. You live in a fascist dictatorship. You're not going to have a good time unless you are the fascists in charge. They're the only people who have a good time in those kind of things. But look, Ukraine's being sacrificed. And you saw Richard Tice then trying to defend what Trump is doing. And, kudos. I can't believe I'm saying this. Ugh, the words feel disgusting in my mouth. But kudos to Julia Hartley-Brewer for taking him to task on that. I guess he was on Talk Radio or Talk TV, whatever the fuck it's called, a Murdoch channel, pretending, that they give a shit. Do you know what I mean? And I guess they weren't expecting that. I guess he wasn't expecting that. I guess he wasn't expecting to actually be taken to task over his absolutely yellow belly, cowardly, craven stance towards Russia. Richard Tice would love it if Russia ran this country. He would love it if he could throw his political enemies out the window. He wouldn't give a fuck. The guy is a psychopath. The guy is a Nazi psychopath running a political party in this country with his other Nazi psychopath friend, National Front. Nigel Farage, who once got really excited about having the same initials as the National Front and sung Nazi fucking songs in school. Do you think that do you think that he's changed over the years? As he become more arrogant and empowered and feathered his nest? Do you think he's yeah? Anyone else experiencing live chat freezing? I don't know. Maybe. I'm sorry that's happening. I never usually watch that talk channel. That clip's an eye opener. Tice got burned. I never watch it normally. It was brought to my attention. But it's, Alchemist saying economic collapse incoming. Well, this is why Europe needs to stand strong together and come up with ways of, getting America out of its life. We'll come to that in a moment. Look, the US is undermining NATO by dictating security policies that benefit Russia, not us, not the members, not the 32 members of fucking NATO, but, Russia. Trump is weakening NATO's role and Europe's collective defense against the darkness at our gates, which is what Putin is. Putin is a fascist. He kills his political enemies. He invades countries willy-nilly. He doesn't care how many soldiers are fed into the meat grinder. He does not give a fuck. No fucks given by Putin. He will destroy you. He will destroy your family. He will he will take away everything you care about, everything you love. And he will not even lose a second of sleep over it. Because the guy is a fucking psychopath. Like Tice, like Farage, like Trump, like Musk. These people are not right in their head. And back in the day, we will take people like this and we will put them in a sanatorium for their own fucking protection. Actually, I realise now it was for the protection of society. Because these fucking knobheads, these rich, aristocratic, neo-aristocrat motherfuckers who have risen through the ranks by failing upwards every fucking time. Trump is the ultimate failing upwards fucking person. He's the president of the United States again. How much can an old, white, horrible, miserable, fascist scumbag fail upwards? He can fail upwards as much as Trump. A guy who has seen 7 of his businesses end in bankruptcy. He bankrupted a fucking casino. I mean, that's how bad he is with money. That is how bad he is with money. With other people's money, because he doesn't give a shit. It's not his own. Paul Pollard, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Is that snow outside the White House or a carpet of white feathers sent by the real Americans? Paul, I think it's a blanket of snow. I'm not really seeing much protests going on in America. I can't see an uprising against Trump. I mean, it looks like, looking at the polls, a lot of people agree with what Trump is doing. They love it. Katrina Tam, £5 super chat. Thank you very much. I got a scholarship to a private school for my A-levels. I left after a term because all the pupils there were so toxic and I couldn't take it. Thank you very much for the super chat, and thank you for, reaffirming my view of these institutions that I think should be shut down. No, go, okay, you don't want to pay VAT? That's fine, we'll just shut you down. I see them as borstals for posh people. And so much damage is done by these institutions that don't need to be inspected by Ofsted, don't need to follow the national curriculum like the rest of us fucking plebs, don't need to have teachers who actually have a PGCE. You can just get the head teacher's noncy mate, the sweaty man from the pub. He can come and he can legally teach in a fucking private school. How good is that? Private schools, woof. They really make things better for the society that they pump out damaged individuals into. And not to say that everyone who went to private school ended up a damaged individual, but, Neil Gaiman went to private school. Russell Brand went to private school. He went to the Sylvia Young Theatre. Costs about 15 grand a term or something fucking ridiculous. It's nice to have that kind of money, innit? When you're 16 years old, or at least your parents having that much money when you're 16 years old to be able to go and do that. Ghislaine Maxwell, she went to private school. Obviously Trump did. Obviously Tice did. And Farage and Rees-Mogg and Gove and that horrible little Boris Johnson creep. And obviously Kemi Badenoch, goes without saying. And Rishi Sunak went to private school as well. So obviously David Cameron, he went to the same school as Boris Johnson. If you have a wrong'un in society who's got loads of money, not someone who's been robbing or dealing drugs or something to make ends meet. I'm talking about the rich wrong'uns. Nearly every single one of them went to these schools and it fucked them up. I don't think that your mum and dad fuck you up. I think that Philip Larkin's got it wrong there. Your private school fucks you up. And they mean to. It's not even like they don't mean to, but they do. They actually mean to fuck you up. And so that they send their kids. They send their kids to these schools. Like, why would you send your kid to James O'Brien's old school where they kept a paedophile for 20 years or something? They had a paedophile in the school who was raping the children in the school. And the school's still open. The school is still open, and people are still offering up their firstborn. Hey, here you go. Take this child. Do with him or her what you may, what you will. I trust you. I mean, imagine trusting an institution that has got a history of abusing children and going, here you go, here's my child. That's how fucked up the rich and the powerful are in this country, mate. And, I'm sure there's going to be someone in the chat going, oh, but, I went to private school and I turned out all right. Yeah, I know. Some people do. It's fine. Some people go to prison and turn out all right. Some people are put in solitary confinement for 7 years and turn out all right. But most don't. Most get really fucked up by the experience. Anyway, FT Griffin says ban private schools. Absolutely. I think we should make a constitutional amendment like they did. I know we don't have a written constitution, but you know what I mean. Like they did in Finland in the 1970s to ban private education. Just ban it outright. Paul Ewan, European Defence Force with Ukraine as a member. Thank you for the super chat. And absolutely, mate. Couldn't agree more. Could not agree more if I possibly fucking tried. But yes, America's destabilizing Europe. It's destabilizing our continent. The Biden era framework for security is being dismantled by Trump, leaving Europe vulnerable to further Russian aggression. Trump is also attacking Europe financially. He's demanding more European defense spending to cover the cover for, as a cover, I guess, as America's, what would you call it, retreat from responsibility? Forcing Europe to bear the brunt of Russian aggression alone without America. But yeah, okay, that's going to happen. So we need to get our shit together. In Europe, now, we need to get our shit together. US isolationism benefits Russia and China. By stepping back from NATO's traditional role, the US is creating a power vacuum that Russia and China will naturally fill. So, what can we do about it? Well, first of all, what Europe can do about it is we can build a unified European defence strategy, as was just mentioned by Paul Ewan there, European Defence Force. Europe can no longer rely on the US for security and must develop a self-sufficient defence force, absolutely. We are bigger than Russia, we've got more members than Russia. NATO is bigger than Russia, even without the Americans. So, yeah, we can do this. We can do this. We need to increase military cooperation without the US being involved. The EU and NATO members must cooperate independently of American leadership and invest in their own defense industries. That's what we've got to do. It's going to be the biggest entitled repo snot in existence soon, says Alchemist. What? Perry says Musk is using the kid as an accessory. He may as well have got himself a smart dog to carry around in a handbag. Yeah, a small dog, sorry, not a smart dog. Booger Boy said to Trump, "You're not the president, you need to go away," says Ozzy. Yeah. Little kid said that to the fucking president. And Trump just took it. Listen, right? Two things that I will stake my reputation on. All right, I know that's not much, but whatever. One, Trump will only leave the White House in a box. That's it, right? Two, Elon Musk will go to jail. And when he does go to jail, it will be for a very, very long time. It will be for the rest of his natural life. Two things that I see on the horizon. Hey, it might take a few months. It might take a few years. It might take a couple of decades, but it will happen at some point. Because fascism can only stand for so long before people just fuck it up. You know, the people at the top fuck it up and the people who are fighting against it fuck it up for the people at the top. You can only keep a population at bay for so long because there's much more of them than there is of you. And in Russia, I guess Putin does a very good job of being a dictator, but you're talking about a country that has basically lived under a dictatorship almost all of its existence in the modern era. You know, that's why it's so jealous of Ukraine actually having free and fair elections and having a peaceful transfer of power. That will never happen in Russia. You know, the only way that Putin is going to ever leave the fucking Kremlin is in a box as well. That is my third fucking, law. Graham's law. And that's a situation for the Russians. But in Europe, we know what it's like to not live under a fascist dictatorship. We know what it's like to be free, to say what we want to do what we want to do. I mean, I guess Americans have that, but they don't like it very much. They want Trump Daddy to tell them what to do and tell them what to say and tell them what to think because they're too fucking lazy to just, do that themselves. Musk will be living in Moscow in 5 years' time. No, I don't see that. I mean, it's a possibility. Okay, it's a possibility, Perry. But I think he's going to go down because I think Trump's going to turn against him at some point. I don't know how much Trump can take of Musk's fucking ego. You put two mad egos in a room and you have the business card scene in American Psycho. And let's make no mistake, Trump is, he is fat American psycho. That's what he is, fat orange American psycho. Elon's father intentionally named him after the character Elon in Nazi scientist Werner von Braun's book Project Mars: World Dictatorship. Be by the sea. I was several months in a job, and one of my colleagues let slip that I only got the job because I went to private school. I didn't. Boss wrongly assumed I was private because it was a girls' school. Lol. Shows the advantage by Be by the sea. Yeah. So effectively, you were a PSM hire. You were a private school mafia hire, but you didn't go to private school. Quite cunning. Well done. Respect for that. But all the best jobs, all the top jobs, all the fun jobs are absolutely dominated by the private school mafia. When you can listen to LBC radio for 12 hours in a row a couple of weeks ago and not hear a presenter that didn't go to private school, it's too much. We need to point this out. We need to keep pointing it out because there's so many people out there who are like, oh, but, I might want to go to private school by that. No, you're not going to go to private school, mate. You're not. Your kids aren't. You don't earn enough. You've got to earn twice as much as you're earning at the moment to send your kids to private school. It's like £30,000 a year to send your kid to private school. That's one of them. If you've got 2 kids, it's £60,000 a year. Who has that kind of money? Millionaires, that's who. Are you a millionaire? No, well, shut up then. Stop trying to defend private schools. Jesus Christ. How many people are trying to defend these wealthy landowners owning fucking vast swathes of our fucking farmland to say, oh, I'll go away from paying inheritance tax? You don't have to do anything with the farmland. You don't have to prove that you're actually tilling the land, or doing any animal husbandry. You don't have to do that. You just own the fucking land. And then you can pass it down to your kids and say, we're exempt from inheritance tax. What an awesome loophole. The government closes that loophole. It affects 500 people. 500 fucking people. And we got all the farmers' tractors out. They're beeping the fucking horns. Oh, it's a betrayal. No, it's fucking not. Do you know what is a betrayal? All the farmers who voted for fucking Brexit. That's a betrayal. All the farmers who vote for the Tories every fucking chance they get. That's a betrayal. And obviously, hashtag not all farmers, obviously. Anyway, so we need to increase military cooperation, independently of America, and also we need to fast track Ukraine's ascent to NATO. Get rid of America, get Ukraine on board. That's it. Just kick out America. Just say, look, this isn't working. Bye. Get Canada to replace America. Look. You might think, oh, Graham, fucking hell, but we need America. No. Trump has said that they're not going to be putting any American troops here in Europe. They're not going to be set. They're not going to be. They've said maybe they might do some flyovers in aircraft to make sure that Russia's not bombing cities in the west of Ukraine, the little bit of Ukraine that Ukraine's allowed to keep. But realistically, they're not going to do shit. They're not going to do shit. We shouldn't fucking ask them. Tell them to fuck off. That's it, They've got nothing. They've got nothing to offer us. They're not going to help. And they are now on the side of Russia. They're our enemy. The US is our enemy. It's a very sad situation to be in, but it's reality. So we need to get NATO to fast track Ukraine. We also need to get NATO to start looking at places like Mexico and Canada and other countries to support NATO against our enemies, which is Russia and now America, apparently. Quack Reject is getting kicked off the channel for being a troll. Hey, well, a Russian troll. I love Russian trolls. Russian trolls are my favorite. There you go. Oh, it's Quack Reject was trying to write lots of things there, but we've silenced Quack Reject. So Quack Reject can't write anything on this channel. Quack Reject can just watch and cry. Cry, motherfucker, cry. Because, the one thing that these people who love Russia and love dictatorship and love the Nazis hate is the truth. So let's drop some truth bombs, eh? That'll piss them off. So we need to strengthen also, not just militarily, but our economic independence from the US. And this is something that, just reduce reliance on American defense industries and prioritize European military production. We need to confront Russia with sanctions and hard power. If Trump refuses to support Ukraine, Europe must take a stronger stance and increase sanctions, more military aid to Ukraine, and, boots on the ground. I'll go for boots on the ground, I would. Tell Russia to fuck off. You've got to stand up to bullies. Because if you don't stand up to bullies, they just keep bullying you, you fucking idiots. Anyway, so we need to counter Trump's influence in Europe, obviously, as well, with far-right parties around Europe emboldened by Trump, fellow Nazis. European leaders must challenge pro-Trump figures who push US interests over that of Europe's security. And Europeans who go for that are just fucking crazy. America's its own worst enemy to start with. But I mean, like, people in Europe who support Trump, like you saw in that interview there with Tice, they're just tying themselves in knots because they're trying to pretend that they're not capitulating to Nazis or Nazis themselves when actually it's pretty clear where Tice stands in all this. He's like, oh, well, I don't care about what happened to Ukraine. But if it was my country, I'd fight to the death. Okay. So yeah, we also need to, as I've been saying, form new alliances, strengthen ties with Canada, Japan, especially. Japan would be a really great strategic partner in a military, NATO-like force. South Korea as well, and Australia. To balance against US isolationism. I mean, we talk about bringing Australia back when we said, oh, was it Boris Johnson said, oh, this is to apologise for 50 years of us being in the EU, so we're going to give you a really great trade deal. I'm so sorry we pulled out of the Commonwealth, the Commonwealth Economic Community, as it kind of was in 1973, to join the European Economic Community. Yeah, okay. Well, let's go back to Canada and to Australia and say, hey guys, would you mind manufacturing some weapons for us so we can fight Russia? I don't know. We all want peace. We all do want peace, but wars don't come to an end because Trump declares it so. People in Ukraine will continue fighting. Russia will continue fighting. Russia will continue to try and expand its borders any which way it can. Probably invade Mongolia next. Who fucking knows? But and we need to call out Trump's betrayal on the world stage. This is something that you can help with, something I can help with. Keep calling it out. He is not our ally. His policies endanger our future, our collective future in this continent. He can fuck off and diet, because he's overweight. Without the T. He is an absolute fucking monster. We need to call him out. So finally, before we wrap up, what can you do? What can I do? Well, obviously, I've talked about supporting channels that are against Trump, against Putin, and giving them your eyeballs. Right? You don't have to give them a super chat, but Ken M, thank you very much for the super chat. Great timing, thank you. But we don't need to give them necessarily money, but giving them our time, watching videos, giving the thumbs up, because all the videos on here are supported by the ads, and if you watch more videos, you'll see more ads, or you get YouTube Premium or whatever. I mean, it's a way of supporting content creators. However, there is another side to this, which is we do need to start boycotting American goods and services, which at the moment can't really include YouTube, unfortunately, because this is the platform we're on. But I get demonetized now for saying, hey, maybe we should walk away from YouTube. But until someone else creates another video platform that is similar to this with as much of a reach, I think we're kind of stuck with it. However, no reason at all to be using Twitter these days. It's a fucking cesspit. Facebook is shite. Like, Facebook is objectively shite. Even if it wasn't for the fact that the owner of Facebook is a fucking knobhead, Zuckerberg. The fact that you scroll through and it's just adverts. It's just adverts for shit. It's just adverts for get rid of it. And then you've got when you have the choice between buying a burger at McDonald's or buying it from a local shop, go to the local shop, go to the local kebab shop, go to the local cafe. Don't spend your money in Starbucks. Maybe go to Cafe Nero, which is a UK company, or go to Tim Hortons, which is a Canadian company. But do your research. I might do an episode actually about all the quiet quitting we can do to just quietly walk away from American goods and services. Don't forget, you've got things like Unilever, which was set up originally by Lord Leverhulme in the UK, but it's probably now owned by, I'll have to look into this, but it's probably owned by an American conglomerate. So it's sussing out who owns what, and if these companies are owned by American companies, just saying, walking away. Because the only way that we can defeat these crypto fascists, these anarcho-capitalists, is by attacking the only thing they care about. And the only thing that these capitalist fascists care about is the bottom line. And if they see their stock going down, if they see the amount that they are worth going down, they shit a brick. They don't want to see that. They want to see things going up all the time, up, 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 number go up, happy days. So yeah, we need to start looking at how we address that situation and how we make their lives a bit of a misery. Because don't forget, there's one thing that rich, people say we hate the rich because we're jealous. It's the politics of envy. People say we hate the rich because, this and that. No, we hate the rich because not all of them, but the people who get raised up into positions of power are fucking scumbags who are making our lives a misery. But if anyone hates the rich more than anyone else, it's the fucking rich. The rich absolutely detest each other, and they spend their whole lives out trying to outdo each other. Who's got the biggest yacht, and who's got the biggest platform, and who's got the most influence over the politics of XYZ country, etc. It is just absolutely maddening. Anyway, so we just got a new member. Thank you very much to MZ for gifting a Politics Social membership there. That's very kind of you, and it went to Rexanne. So well done, Rexanne. You are now a member of the channel. So that just gets picked out at random. Oops, caps lock. Blue Badger says, what we need to do is that the allies with the shared technology like the Sherman tank and universal parts, so all vehicles and equipment can be recognized by every NATO-aligned army soldiers. Yep, that is a really good point, Blue Badger. We definitely need to do that. Tesla stock plummeted, says one angry pagan. Yeah, but I mean, that Tesla stock is fucking, it's for the birds. I mean, honestly, it's bonkers. Tesla stock bears no resemblance to, it bears no connection. I'm sorry, there's no connection between Tesla stock and the actual commodity that they are creating in Tesla cars. The number kind of goes up and down independent of that because it's a meme stock. It's a fucking meme stock. Right, we're going to quickly do the papers now. I'm sorry, this is if you made it this far and you want to just leave it for that for now, I don't blame you. But we're going to do the papers really quickly. Got 5 minutes left, and all of them are unsightly. Today, we've got the Financial Times here. Macron says Europe must muscle up on security after Trump electroshock. We've got the Guardian here. Trump says he has open talks with Putin to end war in Ukraine. And Hollywood is still very much a boys' club, says Christina Hendricks. Didn't we have that the other day? Have we? I'm sure I saw that. I'm sure I read that out the other day. I'm just gonna scroll down through all the papers very quickly because I'm sure that was a thing yesterday on one of the papers. Yes, look, see, here we go. Trump says he's open talk with Putin to end war in Ukraine. Hollywood is still very much. This is yesterday's Guardian. Why are you giving us yesterday's Guardian? What is wrong with you? Stupid tomorrow's papers today. Let me just refresh the page in case that's just... Nope. That's what it says. It clearly says 13th of February on the top there. Anyway, okay. Macron says Europe must muscle up on security after Trump's electroshock. EU urged to shape own future. US president's return is useful jolt. Only Zelensky can talk for Kyiv, which is very true. I had an affair with my hunky son-in-law. I know it's outrageous, but I blame my daughter. The Daily Mail seems to be on a thing at the moment to pit mothers against daughters for some reason. I don't know. Being a bit weird. TV Julia, be a hero and pick up litter. Okay, campaign there. And then we've got Royal Exclusive, King's trip to charm Trump. Charles to meet President on tour of North America in bid to smooth relations. You'll be back. Look, we had another super chat. Thank you very much to David Coombs for the super chat. Unilever owned by Unilever NV Holland and Unilever UK PLC. Oh, well, that's good. So yeah, okay. Well, you can buy the Unilever stuff. That's okay. And maybe if you fancy it, you don't have to do this. You really don't have to do this. But if you fancy it, go visit Port Sunlight in the Wirral Peninsula. It's very, very nice. It was a company town that was built in the Victorian era when they could actually build a company. It's a company village. It's got a beautiful, beautiful pre-Raphaelite art gallery with some of the most amazing pre-Raphaelite artworks in the world. And it's just this little art gallery in the middle of a little village on the Wirral Peninsula. that was set up by Lord Levy Hume, who, had links with the slave trade. So let's not, beat around the bush. But, he had a good eye for art. He had a good eye for art. Today's the 14th, says Mike. Yeah, I know. I don't know why it was yesterday's paper, but I did pick up on that. Trump accused of appeasement over peace talks. I misread that. With Putin. Yeah, that's what he's done. He's appeased. Amid row over exaggerated CV, it's revealed that Chancellor was probed over expense claims before she left H-Boss Bank. Halifax Bank in Scotland. So this is about Rachel Reeves and her expenses, right? And if you dig down into this, sources have said that she bought a £152 handbag and claimed it on expenses. You do know that the Tories gave their mates billions of pounds of our taxpayers' money for PPE that didn't even fucking work in the middle of a pandemic, and they used their money to buy yachts and property and cocaine, probably, because that's what rich people do, and send their kids to private school. We pay for that. We subsidise that. £152. £152. Thanks to the Tories. That'll just about get you around in the local, wouldn't it now? All right. I mean, I feel like these papers are making a mountain out of a molehill. I might be wrong. It might turn out that, it was actually £150,000 that she claimed erroneously, but I somehow doubt it. The Times here, US may provide air cover to protect Ukraine peace. There's a bit of copium there. No, they won't. And then NHS chief, private funds needed to fix our hospitals. Robert De Niro's new must-see TV thriller, apparently, and what I'll be doing on my 36th Valentine's night. I don't care, Robert. I don't give a shit. We've got the iPaper here. A dramatically different Europe will emerge. Yes, it will. 1949 deal to protect Europe from war is history. Trump's message to shocked world leaders. Panic and disbelief in Europe. Why? I've been saying this was going to happen. Am I the only one who said that this would happen? Like, as soon as Trump... I mean, even before Trump was elected, I said he was going to be elected, and then he was, and I said, this is what's going to happen. I made a fucking video about it. We can't rely on the US anymore. We can't. Panic, disbelief. He's doing exactly what he said he was going to do, which was to be a fucking fascist. What do you think a fascist's going to do? Give you a fucking tummy tickle? Jesus Christ. President signs major shift in security guarantees that have kept peace on the continent for 80 years. Diplomatic officials, military leaders, and intelligence sources tell the iPaper that Trump has granted upper hand to Putin in peace talks. Yeah, because he said straight away, off the bat, they're not going to join NATO, and you can keep all the territory that you've got. The two things that were up for negotiation. He's such an art of the deal. He's such a great negotiator. He's such a great, deal maker. He gave them everything they wanted straight off. Yeah, but how about you give me 50p for the car? Okay, here's 50p. I'm the greatest deal maker ever. Tamara Mellon. I don't know who Tamara Mellon is, but she plots her Jimmy Choo comeback. I have no idea what that means. None of those words make sense to me, but okay. Bathroom battle of the sexes. There's a woman who needs to use the bathroom, I guess. And then we've got the Telegraph, the right wing rag, the Daily Star with fancier fonts. We've got 2.5% on defence to interest asides. Military chief deliver warning to Starmer as Trump threatens to pull out of Europe. Yeah, we need to increase military spending. I actually agree on that. Trump puts UK on £24 billion VAT tariff alert. Awesome. Okay, cool. And then we've got Ghanaian wins right to stay after staging wedding she wasn't at. So, an anti-immigrant story there from the Daily Telegraph. There's actually going to be an event later in the year, and our friend Zoe Gardner, is going to be there, and it's actually celebrating migrants, like why we need people to come to this country. And I think it's a good first step. We need more of it. Daily Express here. A man could change his name, grow his hair, wear a skirt. It does not give him the right to use women's spaces or to force people to pretend he's a woman. This is from Mayor Forrester, who's just a vile, disgusting transphobe. I mean, she must look in the mirror and not like what she sees, which, Maya, I don't kind of like what I see either. So not in my mirror, your mirror. But she's absolutely vile, and she gets a column in the Daily Express to promote her homophobia, to promote her transphobia, because she doesn't like trans people because they're having a nice life and they can't have a nice life because I've got no real reason for it. I just don't like trans people. That's what she's basically saying, because she's a fucking scumbag. She's a gobshite. She's a terrible, terrible, terrible person who, if all things were equal, she would never work in this town again. She'd just be ostracized by society for being a fucking bigot. But there you go. Zelensky warns the world it cannot allow everything to go to tyrant's plan. End the war, but don't let Putin win the peace. This is what Volodymyr Zelensky has said, which is absolutely right about. Quick fix is a dirty deal. Trump accused of World War II style appeasement. Absolutely. UK and EU leaders condemn president for offering Putin everything he wants. Ukraine must be at the heart of the peace talks after huge sacrifice to push back invaders. Yeah, absolutely. And there's some Russian dolls with Trump and Putin on them. If you open the Russian doll of Trump, then Putin is inside. I'm saying that Putin is inside Trump. That's what I'm saying. PutinForTrump.com. If you got a strong stomach, PutinForTrump.com. I translate it from the Russian into English so you can read it. Chancellor's Pinocchio CV in full. This is about her lying on her CV. From 1952 to 2022, I was the Queen of England. I scored a hat trick in the World Cup. Okay, whatever. That's the Daily Star. Wow. Don't know why they put the star on there. The one thing I do like about Tomorrow's Papers and why I don't use the BBC one is it doesn't have the sun on it. But, the Express and the Mail are just as fucking bad. Damn, I don't want to give up Morrison, says Anne Phillips. Oh, good. I was scared to go a day without transphobe vitriol. Yeah, Gallifreyan event, it's got to be done. The bigots have got to have their say. Again and again and again, like a drunk, lonely, feckless, shit his own pants Graham Linehan on New Year, obviously clearly on his own, his wife and kids wanting nothing to do with him, in his shitty little bedsit in Croydon or wherever the fuck he lives, basically tweeting every 3 seconds about trans people. Because we need that. We need that in our lives. We need someone who's prepared to go that extra mile to shit in their own pants and write nasty things about trans people every 3 minutes on New Year, because that's what a normal person does, Graham, right? You cunt. Graham Linehan, who called me a groomer on Twitter, but I can't sue him for doing that because apparently he's got no money. Literally, he has no money. He's bankrupt. All his friends have left him. All his family's left him. No one wants anything to do with him. Maybe he'll find the answer to all of his problems at the bottom of the next bottle. I don't know. Anyway, moving on. We've got Captain here saying one day it will be over, Ren. Yeah, yes, one day it will. And one day we'll be back to, we've suffered a setback, let's say, to pushing for a society in which everyone is treated with respect. Yeah, everyone is given a chance. Everyone is allowed to live their life as they want to live it, so long as it doesn't impede on the freedoms and the dignity of anyone else, And that's the society that I want to build, where you live and let live, where you go, well, it's none of my business, get the government out your bedroom, get the government out of the fucking doctor's surgery, get Trump and Musk are always going about the government overreach and spending all this money on this and that and that. These are the same people that want someone from the government to decide what you are allowed to do with your own body, and where you're allowed to go, and what sports you're allowed to participate in, and what toilets you're allowed to use. Overreach somewhat, yeah. But hopefully, as Phil says, it's the elastic of politics. It gets pulled in each direction, but eventually it twangs back towards the middle. And I'm an extreme centralist, apparently, for having these dreams, these aspirations for our society. Dreams and aspirations that we weren't far off from getting. I remember it was only 12 years ago, wasn't it, that we finally got gay marriage made legal in the UK. And it was just such a progressive, wonderful step forward. It was on the, hot off the heels of a fantastic Olympic ceremony that we had held, with an opening ceremony that really did show the history, the humour, and the debt of gratitude we owe to the NHS, Windrush, a generation, people coming here from all over the world, looking at what we've done and where we're going in the future, and giving us like a positive spin on it, a positive spin on what we've achieved and where we can go next. But all I can see at the moment now, looking back, is all the shit we've done, because we're in a shitty situation at the moment, and it just makes me go, well, what was the point of all that? What was the point of making it so that gay people can get married, while at the same time making it so that trans people feel fucking terrible for using the fucking toilet, for Christ's sake? It feels like one step forward, two steps back. But I believe that there are enough of us that care, that want to make things better for people, that can actually make a difference. And something like, just to get away from the transphobia in this country for a moment, but just something like boycotting American goods. If those tech bros and oligarchs see their bottom line go down by 1%, just 1%, just maybe they just don't grow that quarter, they'll be out in their ear. They'll be fired by the board, because the board wants to see growth all the fucking time. So let's make sure that that doesn't happen. Let's make sure that they don't get any growth. Let's make sure that they go into recession, each of them. These American companies, as we walk away from them, we quietly quit them. We find other ways of getting to do what we want to do, see what we want to see, eat what we want to eat. So yeah, it's painful. Truly don't understand transphobia. It's like disliking someone's mode of dress. F off, they're wearing it, or as my Kate mum would say, what suits the wearer doesn't suit the stater or starer. Yeah, it's true. It's true, Jane. It's nothing to do with me. I'll give love and support to anyone who's who's living their own life and not hurting anyone. And why wouldn't you do that? That's telling people that they're wrong, telling people that they're wrong in the way that they feel because they are attracted to someone of the same sex, telling them they're wrong. What? Really? Are we going back there? Are we going back to those dark days in the 1980s where AIDS was equated with being gay? Oh, by the way, something else that you can do while we're on things to do: put a complaint in against GB News. Gammon Box News had a pundit on, privately educated, of course, who was saying that that homosexuals were paedophiles. And this was broadcast, and it's one of the most complained about things. I think Phil did a video about it yesterday. If you can get on to Ofcom and complain about it, please. If you didn't see it yourself, if you find a clip of it, please go to Ofcom and complain about it, because they're truly taking the piss at GB News. They've been sanctioned over 12 times, or told off 12 times with absolutely no actual sanctions, where they've actually been fined or anything's really happened, or they've lost their license to broadcast, which they totally should do, because it is a right-wing Nazi propaganda channel that should not be on TV. And the other thing that you need to boycott is Brewdog. The James Watt, I think his name is, the guy who runs Brewdog, has put out today or yesterday, he put out a thing on LinkedIn saying that we need our own Department of Government Efficiency, and he wants to be like mini Musk, I think. I don't know, but the guy's a fucking knobhead, so please don't drink Brewdog beers, don't frequent their shit pubs, their shit overpriced pubs. Go somewhere else. So Brewdog, Weatherspoons, avoid. Go your local boozer, support your local boozer. As much as you can. That's great. Be by the sea. Treat other people as you would like to be treated yourself. It's the golden rule, isn't it? It's the golden rule. You can complain on the Good Law Project, read GB News. Yeah, so if you can go and do that, I'm going to go now, and I'm going to go and record a show with Marina Perkis and with Alex Kerr for the Sunday roast, which will be broadcast 10 o'clock on Sunday. So please look out for that. We'll be talking about gesticulates at everything. I'll be back at 1 o'clock today with Phil Morehouse for the agenda. We'll be talking about British politics. I'm not really going to be mentioning Trump too much. So if you'd like to join us for that, we'll be talking about Labour's stance on immigration this week, and whether those videos, that they did of dawn raids, and whether, putting out really, really tragic comms to say, hey, have you heard Labour's doing things about immigration? Yeah, we'll be talking about that. And then this evening at 9:30, if you'd like to join me for a special Valentine's night edition. I might be on my own. I don't know. People might have things to do. Valentine's Day night edition of the Friday Night Social. Please join us for that. And until then, I'll say thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a really, really fantastic rest of the day. If I don't see you, have a great rest of the weekend. And give us a like on the way out, please, because that's very kind of you when you do that. Thank you for the chat. Thank you for the super chats. Thanks for watching. Hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.